Before we get into the video, a couple of safety things we must go through. So first thing, unplug the machine from the power supply. Isolate that plug so nobody else can plug it back in while you're working on it. Wear some safety gloves because inside the machine are some very sharp edges. And lastly, if you're not confident doing this, contact your local repair agent to help you out. In this video I'm going to show you how to remove and replace a door catch or door lock as it's otherwise known on a dishwasher. Now, in just about all makes and models, all brands, the door lock or catch is mounted in the door right at the very top, somewhere in the centre. And think of it as the on-off switch for your whole machine. So if your dishwasher is lighting up, there's evidently power there, but won't physically start a program and won't make any sounds or noises, then your door lock is a very likely culprit for that fault. And it's quite an easy thing to change. So in this video we're going to show you how to do that. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is open up the door, because we're going to undo some screws all the way around here, all the way around, to remove this cosmetic panels off the front. Now, I do want to stress one very important point that we mentioned right at the start of the video, and that is wear some safety gloves. Now, if there was ever a machine where that is absolutely necessary, then dishwashers is it, because once you remove these panels here, what you're left with is some incredibly sharp edges, and it's very easy to cut yourself on them. So I can't recommend gloves highly enough for this particular job. So let me reposition the camera so you can see more clearly what I'm about to do, and then we'll get started. So the screws I'm referring to are these here on the camera. So they essentially run all the way across the side, across the top and down the other side, in a kind of goalpost shape, if you like. So we're going to whip these screws out, and once they're out of the way, we'll get the camera back in for a close-up view of what we're doing with the door catch. So now we've got the cosmetic door panels off, we can see what's going on behind it. So when I was talking about the door catch, I'm referring to this bit here. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, this is essentially the on-off switch for the whole appliance. So if that goes faulty, your dishwasher will simply not start a program. So it's one of the most likely components for causing that particular issue. As far as changing it goes, it's actually very simple. You've two electrical connections to it, which you're going to need to take off. And I'd just like to point out, I generally recommend that you take a picture of wires before you disconnect them, but with your door catch in particular, it doesn't matter which way around you get those two wires. As long as both wires go back on when you're finished, it doesn't matter. So, you know, you don't need to worry about taking a photo is what I'm basically saying. So now we've got them disconnected, all we need to do is take it off the door, and it's screwed in with two screws from behind there and there. So let me just remove them. So this is your door catch. So if you was having problems with it not starting a program, it's only a small component. As you've seen, it's quite easy to change. And you also don't really need to worry about the electrical connections going to it. That's only if it has two separate wires going to it. Sometimes it might be more of a multi-plug setup, which something similar to that there. But you can only get that plug in one way, so that even then it wouldn't really matter. So yeah, if you're going to replace that because it's faulty, just a case of screwing it back in and putting the cosmetic panels back on. That's two. So next thing is to reconnect the two wires that go to it, and as I mentioned earlier, doesn't matter which way around these two go on as long as they're both connected. That's one. That's two. So then all we need to do, and this is fairly standard practice for most dishwashers, is to attach this control panel first and then the secondary cosmetic panel afterwards. That's the last screw. Now we can shut the door, and that is how you remove and replace a door catch.